Speaker. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the House. Would Representative Shipley be kind enough to yield for a couple of questions?
Will the gentleman yield?
Yes.
You are in order.
Representative Shipley, I'm looking over that. I don't think the point of order buzzer is quite on either one of us today. I came over and I told you I had a couple questions for you. Outside of the broadband, which I think is certainly a very important bill today, I'm thinking actually that this bill ranks right up there with the importance for a future of Iowa. I'm wondering, can you tell me does this regulate like Bitcoin then?
No, this bill does not regulate Bitcoin.
Except it would impact Bitcoin or similar operations, whether it's CoinPay or Bitcoin.
If someone is entering into a contract using distributed ledger technology, that contract would be legally enforceable under this bill.
And my understanding is Bitcoin uses blockchain technology, which in fact is distributed ledger, right?
Yeah, I think that is an accurate description. But the Bitcoin itself wouldn't be the smart contract. So we are offering a definition in Iowa code of distributed ledger technology, and I believe Bitcoin does meet that definition.
So it does in fact regulate Bitcoin.
Defines it. It gives a framework of a definition.
Well, my concern is, and I don't know anybody that deals in Bitcoin, do you? I mean, that's not a personal question, I don't think, but unless you happen to have a couple of Bitcoins laying around, but.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Iowans who are on the cutting edge of, I guess, crypto finance or the emerging technological implications of this. Yeah, I'm familiar with people. I don't know. So that's the answer. Yes, I am.
This is one of those bills, help me out, maybe I don't want to minimize anybody's skill set, but this is one of those bills that I think just kind of floats by us and we rely on the experts. This is not my skill set in this area, just enough to know. But who wanted this bill?
This bill was brought to us by some numerous sources. One was real estate agents. With the increasing complexity in real estate contracts, I believe they saw the need for this. They were wanting to incorporate more smart contracts in the closing process. There is a Des Moines-based software company that we've been consulting with closely to ensure that these definitions are sufficient for their purposes.
Yeah. Well, I asked that because I looked at the declaration list and I saw basically two groups and a lot of uncommitteds on it. Which probably meant a lot of them are going, we don't know enough about it to go one way or another. But, Representative Hall and I attended two forums this weekend. Not once did anybody say, boy, we want that blockchain stuff or distributed ledger technology. So, nobody has lobbied me on this. Has it been intense for you or just...
Oh, it's been incredibly intense, yes. This bill ensures Iowans have access to world-leading contracting technologies and making sure that Iowa code reflects the reality of 2021.
Okay. Frenzied activity almost, no doubt, for as a floor chair manager.
I would have to look up the definition of frenzy, but I think the pressure I've been feeling to move this bill has been overwhelming, to say the least, yes.
Stunning in the absence of no lobbying efforts. To all the people I talked to. I want to go back to the Bitcoin thing because that is a serious thing. I mean, there's a lot of concern internationally about Bitcoin and similar companies. There's a feeling that we're losing a sizable amount of taxable income off of Bitcoin. And it doesn't look to me like we're giving them a little bit more due respect. And there seems to be an increasing amount of fraud. A lot of the attorney generals across the country, and I know in legislation I see on the debate calendar, seems to be a growing appreciation for the attorney general and their opinion. So I'm wondering if how the attorney general feels about this. But I do think we're missing a chance, and maybe we'll address it in another bill on Bitcoin in particular. I think it's not the official currency of the country. I mean, that's true, right?
Bitcoin? No, Bitcoin is not the official currency of the country.
And it makes me, and this is one of those philosophical, I peg you as somebody out there philosophically.
That's
I'm
correct.
listening to you. If U.S. currency, right on a U.S. quarter and other pieces, it says in God we trust, what would you, for Bitcoin, what do you think would be on a Bitcoin?
I'm not sure I totally understand the question, but certainly putting trust in God, I think, would be a solid foundation from which to build a monetary system, yes.
Because the Bitcoin doesn't strike me as it seems to me like a faith in something else. I mean,
Well, there's a couple different philosophical routes I could take on this question. Bitcoin, actually is very transparent, where any transaction with a Bitcoin would be logged in this distributed ledger technology that would be transparent and reviewable by anyone who has access to the network. I think the question of whether or not Bitcoin is money, or I think it has been being used as money. I believe the Tesla Corporation just said they would be accepting Bitcoin for their operation. So in that context, I think it's a money, if we're defining money as just something that can facilitate the transaction of goods and services. No, I think we need to be very careful where we place our faith, and that's why I think it's very important that we place our faith in God above all.
And I would agree with you, Representative. So it's safe to say distributed ledger technology, I mean, it is more decentralized when it comes to data assembly and data reporting versus traditional databases. Is that correct?
I think that's entirely the advantage, yes. That, for instance, going back to the monetary example, that the Federal Reserve is incredibly centralized, that maybe what they are putting on their balance sheet or their spreadsheet isn't reviewable by the public, whereas a Bitcoin does provide that transparency where anyone around the world could be able to see how many Bitcoin are in circulation and how those transactions are being brought about.
Right. And just in the interest of transparency with the rest of the body, I mean, I came to you last week and suggested we do lunch together. That we should get together.
Should we invite everyone else as well?
Well, that's where I'm headed, Representative.
All right, fantastic.
Even Representative Meyer, he's in. We could do Thailand Place.
I don't know if I'm comfortable inviting Bruce at the moment, but I'm happy to have a dinner or lunch. I'm still trying to catch up with a KO too as well. I think we all need to eat lunch together.
Well, we'll line that up in an evening.
I was just kidding, Bruce. I'd love to eat with you. All right.
So, well, Representative, I do want to say, I mean, it's such a simple bill, and it's a non-con bill right now, but I do think this is cutting-edge stuff. Broadband has been with us. It's like an outgrowth of the ICN network and the next stage, but this truly is cutting-edge stuff, and I think Representative sits in front of me is very knowledgeable in that area, and could probably run circles around either one of us when it comes to this area. But I thank you for running the bill, but I do think we're going to be revisiting this numerous times, and there's going to come a time when the state treasurer and others are going to raise the red flag on companies like Bitcoin, and we're going to have to step in and start regulating them more aggressively, I believe. Thank you, Representative Shipley.